you've done a million things in your life and been very successful. A bunch of young folks listen to this, ask for advice from successful people like you. Uh, if you were to give advice to somebody, not a graduate student or a high school student about pursuing a career in computing or just advice about life in general,
Sure.
is there some words of wisdom you can give them?
So I think you come back to change, and profound leaps happen because people are willing to believe that change is possible, and that the world does change, and are willing to do the hard thing that it takes to make change happen. And whether it be implementing a new programming language, or implementing a new system, or implementing a new research paper, designing a new thing, moving the world forward in science and philosophy, whatever, it really comes down to somebody who's willing to put in the work, right? And you have the work is hard for a whole bunch of different reasons. One of which is you it's work, right? And so you have to have the space in your life in which you can do that work, which is why going to grad school can be a beautiful thing for certain people. um, but also there's a self-doubt that happens. Like, you're 2 years into a project, is it going anywhere? Right? Well, what do? Do you just give up because it's hard? Well, no. I mean, some people like suffering. And so you plow through it. The secret to me is that you have to love what you're doing, and follow that passion, because if when you get to the hard times, that's when, if you love what you're doing, you're willing to kind of push through. And this is really hard, because it's hard to know what you will love doing until you start doing a lot of things. And so that's why I think that, particularly early in your career, it's good to experiment. Do a little bit of everything. Go take the survey class on, the first half of every class in your upper division, lessons, and just get exposure to things, because certain things will resonate with you, and you'll find out, wow, I'm really good at this. I'm really smart at this.
Mhm.
Well, it's just
And so,
because it works with the way your brain
and when
works.
something jumps out, I mean, that's one of the things that people often ask about is like, well, I think there's a bunch of cool stuff out there. Like, how
Yeah.
do I pick the thing? Like,
Yeah.
how do you hook in your life? How did you just hook yourself in and stuck with it?
Well, I got lucky, right? I mean, I think that many people forget that a huge amount of it, or
Just
most of
luck.
it, is luck, right? So let's not forget that. So for me, I fell in love with computers early on because they spoke to me, I guess. Uh,
What
uh,
language did they speak to you? I'm just
basic.
kidding. Basic, yeah.
But then it was just kind of following a set of logical progressions, but also deciding that something that was hard was worth doing, and a lot of fun, right? And so I think that that is also something that's true for many other domains, which is, if you find something that you love doing that's also hard, if you invest yourself in it and add value to the world, then it will mean something generally, right? And again, that can be a research paper, that can be a software system, that can be a new robot, that can be there's many things that can be, but a lot of it is like, real value comes from doing things that are hard. And that doesn't mean you have to suffer. But
It's hard. I mean, you don't often hear that message. We talked about it
it's
last
hard.
time a little bit, but it's one of my not enough people talk about this. It's beautiful to hear a successful person.
Well, and self-doubt and imposter syndrome, and these are all things that successful people suffer with as well, particularly when they put themselves in a point of being uncomfortable, which I like to do now and then, just because it puts you in learning mode. Like, if you want to grow as a person, put yourself in a room with a bunch of people that know way more about whatever you're talking about than you do, and ask dumb questions. And guess what? Smart people love to teach. Often, not always, but often. And if you listen, if you're prepared to listen, if you're prepared to grow, if you're prepared to make connections, you can do some really interesting things. And I think that a lot of progress is made by people who kind of hop between domains now and then, because they bring a perspective into a field that nobody else has, if people have only been working in that field themselves.